What a postcard we have for you today from the Roman city of leisure and pleasure in Wales. It has barracks, swimming pools, it has everything the Roman legionnaire ever wanted, and some say what the Welsh girls desired. We're in Caerleon. Caerleon, Monmouthshire is a surprise town that bursts with Roman antiquity, as Dr. Russell Rees exudes. So what was the importance of this amphitheatre? What did that make Caerleon?
Well, it made it what I have been telling most people, a great leisure centre. This was a sports centre outside the city with its 3 public baths in which all sorts of rest and recreation went on. Caerleon was the great recreation centre of Roman Britain. And of course it became, in the words of the people who live in Caerleon, the Round Table of King Arthur. It was known as the Round Table Field until it was rediscovered to be a Roman amphitheatre by Sir Christopher Wheeler. It's the only building in the Arthurian legends which existed at the right time of the 5th century. There's no other building in anywhere, Glastonbury, Tintagel, that is 5th century, except for this ex-Roman amphitheatre in Caerleon.
Do people agree with you about Caerleon being the centre for the Arthurian legend?
Many people do, and they do on the basis of the works of Tennyson, on the works of even Malory, and the works of Giraldus Cambrensis, on the works of Geoffrey of Monmouth, who described King Arthur being crowned in Caerleon. And of course it's the logical place where it would be. King Arthur was a true Welshman who fought off the English and eventually succeeded in the Battle of Badon to give us 50 years of peace and the frontiers roughly on the Severn Sea. This is authentically the court of King Arthur, Camelot.
Now, if I said to you there was a league table of Roman sites and places in Britain, where would Caerleon figure?
Caerleon would figure very highly. The 3 great Roman military cities were York and Chester and Caerleon. The thing that makes Caerleon unique, it's the only Roman great city that grew to be a village. So what we have here is demonstrably to be seen. What is in Chester can't be seen anymore. What is in York is in the museum. If you come to Caerleon, you see it. You see the plan of the village, the town, and you see its leisure centres. And you see its site. You sit here and we look outside, and there's a wonderful natural amphitheatre, yes, which is the reason the Romans chose this crossing of the River Usk to establish their military city.
I have never seen anything like this in my life, the barracks.
Well, this is unique to it. I mean, it existed in Chester and York, but it's been overgrown by growth in cities. But in Caerleon we have all this ready to be seen. And what we should be doing, of course, is to make it more visible, help people see it, rebuild parts of it. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you tell people that you've done it. And that's what I'm about now. I'm trying very desperately to rebuild the main gate to Caerleon city. These are for stoves and things, you see.
Oh, just there.
In the barrack blocks there were 8
well,
men.
This is incredible. You can see the cubicles, you can see the rooms.
To each cubicle there would be 8 men, and the other cubicle would be for their arms and weapons and whatever. And in between there'd be a sort of meeting ground, so they faced upon each other. It's a little village of itself, you know. And as you can see, it's built of stone. It was meant to last.
Yes.
It lasted 300 years. That's almost longer than the United States lasted.
So why was it a barracks? What were they defending against if there were attacks?
When they came in AD 74, the Romans came here and they came over the top of the hill. On top of that hill there was the British camp.
Where all the houses are.
That was the ancient British camp. 17 3/4 acres, surrounded by massive earthen walls and things. So they defended from the heights. But when the Romans arrived, they arrived with a new military technology, covered in armour, with short stabbing swords, piercing spears, and a large shield. They came and stood and waited for people to attack them because they had the strength. They could afford to have a fortress in the valley. The ancient Britons had throwing spears, long swords, and they needed the hills to defend themselves. The ancient Britons were faced by a magnificent body of disciplined, new technology, really serious military opponents, something they'd never seen before. The hot and cold baths, of course, were accompanied by a major swimming pool. And this swimming pool was devoted to the legions. Legionnaires came here after their stint on the parade ground outside. And this has been recently discovered in the 50s, I think it was. You can see it's stone-walled and then covered with a very good thick cement lining, which obviously kept it watertight. It's one of the major finds. And this place, you must remember, in Roman times was the size of a cathedral. A major, major building built by a major architect. The man who did the aqueducts of Rome, Julius Frontinus, built Caerleon.
Did the legions or the legionnaires come from all over Britain?
They came from all over Britain, but they also came from the Mediterranean. Spaniards and Italians, and of course they came and stayed. Once they were here long enough, they were given pensions and they often settled down with local girls and stayed. And that is part of the Roman contribution. Not only were they occupiers, but they were part of our heritage. They were part of the bloodstream and the genetic makeup of what Britain is today. That's good.
We're off into the splendid Roman Legionary Museum to investigate the Roman way of life and death.
They showed that the Romans were very serious about death. In fact, they were very worried about their future in death, as you can see here. Here is an extraordinary thing found in Caerleon, which is a Roman coffin. And you can see the pipe leading to it, whereby, in fact, the body was fed to help it through to the other world, as it were. And Caerleon is full of these things. There's so much of it that we had sarcophagi, Roman sarcophagi, left in the open here. Now, I'm glad to say that they are treasures and they're undercover.
And they had cremation here. This is what's interesting.
Yes. Indeed, the Romans took death very seriously. In fact, they had a death club, a burial club. They paid in money as we pay into insurance now, so that they were helped along in the other world.
Well, that's it from the Romans in Monmouthshire. As he would have said, Velete. Ta-da.